Hello and welcome. I'm excited to share this presentation with you as part of my preparation for the Advanced Sommelier exam. Whether you're studying for your own wine journey, as a curious enthusiast, or just here to explore, I hope you find value in what we cover today. In this video, we'll be exploring Alsace, uncovering the unique characteristics and stories behind its wines. Before we dive in, I want to highlight the trusted sources I used to create this presentation, some of my absolute favorite wine books. If you're researching or expanding your knowledge, these are great resources to have on your shelf. Now let's get started and uncork the secrets of Alsace. Alsace has a stormed history marked by shifts in sovereignty between France and Germany. The Treaty of Westphalia in 1648, which ended the 30 Years' War between Prussia and Austria, initially secured French control over the region. However, Alsace exchanged hands between France and Germany 3 more times before finally becoming part of France after World War II. This unique history is reflected in the local culture, where it is common for residents to speak French, German, and Alsatian, a local Germanic dialect. In terms of viticulture, Alsace was the home of the first cooperative in France, the Cave Vinicole de Ribeauvillé, created in 1895, and it is the last major French wine region to achieve AOC status, attained in 1962. The region's prestige continued to grow with the establishment of its first Grand Cru vineyard, Schlossberg, in 1975. Subsequently, 24 more Grand Cru vineyards were designated in 1983, followed by another 25 in 1992. The final addition came in 2007 with Kieferkopf, bringing the total number of Alsace Grand Cru vineyards to 51. Alsace is situated west of Germany and east of the Vosges Mountains, lying south of Reims and north of Chablis. Its capital, Strasbourg, is approximately halfway between these two cities. The region's diverse soils play a crucial role in its viticulture. On the steeper sites, schist, granite, and volcanic soils dominate, while Muschelkalk limestone is prevalent on the lower slopes. At the flatter base, clay and gravel are common. Notably, Alsace is also home to the renowned Grès de Vosges, a hard, compact pink sandstone primarily composed of quartz and feldspar. Located at 48 north latitude, Alsace is in line with Kamptal in Austria, Switzerland, and Moravia in the Czech Republic, and enjoys a dry continental climate moderated by the Vosges Mountain to the west and the Rhine River to the east. The region experiences a significant rain-shadow effect due to the Vosges, making Alsace one of France's driest and sunniest wine regions. This unique climate is especially evident in Colmar, the capital of the Haut-Rhin department, which is renowned as one of the driest cities in France. Elevation varies across the region, with vineyards generally higher in the Haut-Rhin than in the Bas-Rhin, contributing to variations in ripening and wine styles. Despite the favorable conditions, colure, a condition where flowers fail to develop into berries, remain a major threat to the vines. 90% of Alsace's production is dedicated to white wine, with the region's reputation largely built on its 4 noble varieties: Riesling, Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, and Muscat. Each of these grapes contribute unique characteristics to Alsace's diverse wine styles. Riesling is considered by growers to be the finest variety in Alsace, almost always vinified dry. In its youth, it can exhibit floral aromas, though it is sometimes relatively neutral. With age, Riesling develops complex notes of gunflint, minerals, and a crisp, steely acidity that complements its pure fruit flavors. Pinot Gris, the only grape in Alsace with a versatility comparable to Riesling, produces wines ranging from dry to sweet and is often off-dry when sourced from Grand Cru vineyards. Its flavors can range from spicy stone fruits such as apricots to a savory palate with impressions of fresh-cut mushrooms. Historically known as Tokaj d'Alsace, it has no relation to the Hungarian grape ferment of the wine Tokaj. Gewürztraminer, as the most aromatic grape of the region, offers distinctive notes of roses on the nose and lychee on the palate. It is almost always off-dry or sweet to counteract its natural bitterness on the finish. With low acidity enhancing its richness, Gewürztraminer achieves its finest expression south of Colmar in the Vallée Noble, particularly around Ruffach. Muscat is known for its ability to convey the aroma of fresh grapes and produces perfumed wines with a signature floral character. Dry versions can appear austere due to the intense finish, but Muscat excels as an aperitif or as a pairing for asparagus, which challenges many white wines. Occasionally, old vine cuvées display greater complexity. Muscat is not permitted for varietal wines in the Zotzenberg, Altenburg de Bergheim, or Kieferkopf Grand Cru sites. Cremant Alsace is the region's sparkling wine made in the traditional method and accounting for a significant portion of Alsace's production. Several grape varieties are permitted in its production, including Chardonnay, unique among Alsace's grape, only allowed for production of Cremant Alsace; Pinot Noir, the sole red grape permitted in the region, and it can be used for both rosé and white sparkling; Pinot Blanc, often considered higher in quality than Auxerrois, though it can be challenging to find wines made entirely from 100% Pinot Blanc. It is not permitted in any of the Grand Cru wines. Pinot Gris adds richness and structure to the Cremant blends, contributing to their complexity. Auxerrois, frequently blended with Pinot Blanc and labeled as such, has a softer aromatic profile. However, wines from very old vines can develop more savory characteristics. Like Pinot Blanc, Auxerrois is not allowed in Grand Cru vines. And Riesling, although more commonly used for still wines, it is also permitted in Cremant Alsace, where it can bring fresh acidity and elegance to the blend. For still wines, other varieties in the region include Pinot Noir, which has undergone the greatest transformation in Alsace over the past 2 decades, evolving from a pale, rosé-like style to more deeply colored and extracted red wines. The best examples often originate from plots within Grand Cru sites, though Grand Cru names cannot appear on the label for Pinot Noir. Sylvaner is often considered a workhorse grape, typically producing wines with a neutral flavor profile. However, wines made from old vines can occasionally display greater depth and character. Sylvaner is not allowed in Grand Cru wines except for Zotzenberg, where it makes up the majority of plantings, though not allowed for Vendange Tardive or Sélection de Grenoble wines. Chasselas, also known in Germany as Gutedel, is generally used for blending with few varietal bottles producing in Alsace. Klavener, a synonym for Pinot Blanc in Alsace. While commonly used for blending, it lacks the distinct character of some other regional varieties. Klavener de Heiligenstein, or Savagnin Rose, is a rare rosé variant of Traminer, the parent grape of Gewürztraminer, and is grown exclusively around Heiligenstein and its neighboring villages, including Burgheim, Gertwiller, Goxwiller, and Obernay. It is not the same as Klavener with a K or Klavener with a C, a synonym for Pinot Blanc. Typically vinified off-dry or sweet styles, Klavener de Heiligenstein may be bottled as a varietal under the Alsace AOP designation in these specific villages. Most vineyards in Alsace are planted in the Haut-Rhin, particularly on south-facing slopes, which provide the best exposure to sunlight. The top vineyards benefit from southern, southeastern, or warm eastern exposures to maximize sunlight, which helps grape reach optimal ripeness. There are varied styles of vine training across the region, including single and double guillaume, cordon, and spur pruning for older vines. The typical vine density ranges around 4,500 vines per hectare. On steeper slopes, vines are trained lower to the ground to capture heat radiated from the earth, while on the valley floor, vines are often trained higher to reduce the risk of frost. Some of the steeper sites, such as Rungen and Castelberg, may be terraced to make the most out of the slope's exposures. To help prevent soil erosion, cover crops are planted between vine rows. While machine harvesting is common in the plains, many sites, especially those with steeper gradients, still rely on handpicking to ensure careful selection of grapes. Harvest typically begins in September and can extend into November depending on the weather and grape maturity. Some of the most important vineyards in Alsace include Schlossberg, Käferkopf, Altenburg de Bergheim, and Zotzenberg, each with unique characteristics and regulations. Schlossberg holds the distinction of being the first vineyard recognized under the Alsace Grand Cru AOP, established in 1975. Käferkopf, located in Ammersphere, was granted Grand Cru status in 2006 and spans 71 hectares, making it the second largest Grand Cru after Schlossberg. Wines from Käferkopf can either be varietal or blended, with strict blending regulations. 60 to 80% Gewürztraminer, 10 to 40% Riesling, up to 30% Pinot Gris, and up to 10% combined of Pinot Blanc, Pinot Noir, Muscat, and Chasselas. Altenburg de Bergheim, like Käferkopf, is one of the only Grand Cru permitted to produce blended wines under defined proportions. 50 to 70% Riesling, 10 to 25% Pinot Gris, 10 to 25% Gewürztraminer, and up to 10% Muscat. Both Altenburg de Bergheim and Käferkopf can also produce varietal wines from Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris, and Riesling. Zotzenberg, a historic site for Sylvaner, is unique in being the only Alsace Grand Cru where Sylvaner is allowed in varietal Grand Cru wines. Other permitted varieties in Zotzenberg also include Gewürztraminer, Riesling, and Pinot Gris. Alsace winemakers typically employ a hands-off approach to preserve the purity and aromatic character of the region's wines. Fermentation is often carried out with ambient yeasts, emphasizing the natural expression of the grapes and terroir. Neutral vessels are used for both fermentation and aging, including stainless steel, cement tanks, and the additional traditional large foudres. New oak is generally avoided as it can mask the delicate aromatics that are the hallmark of Alsatian wines. Instead, many producers rely on large neutral casks, which allow for slow microoxygenation without imparting additional flavors. Malolactic fermentation, malo, is usually avoided in Alsace. This is particularly important for the aromatic varieties such as Pinot Gris and Gewürztraminer, which already have low natural acidity. Allowing malo would reduce acidity further and introduce creamy or buttery notes that could clash with the wine's bright, varietal-driven profiles. By avoiding malo, winemakers ensure that the wines retain their characteristic freshness and vibrant structure. Some producers in Alsace advocate for field blends as the ideal approach for crafting serious terroir-driven wines. In these cases, multiple grape varieties are co-planted, harvested, and vinified together, creating a harmonious expression of the vineyards as a whole. These wines are typically labeled with the vineyard name. Among the strongest proponents of this approach is Marcel Dice, who champions field blends as a way to fully express the complexity and diversity of Alsatian terroir. Cremant Alsace, produced using the Méthode Champenoise, is a significant sparkling wine style in Alsace, governed by specific regulations to ensure quality. Yields are limited to 80 hectoliters per hectare. The pressing ratio allows for a maximum of 100 liters of juice out of 150 kilograms of grapes. And to develop complexity, Cremant Alsace must age for a minimum of 12 months on the lees. While the primary grape variety used is Pinot Blanc and Chardonnay, rosé versions are made exclusively from Pinot Noir. Grand Cru wines in Alsace are held to stricter standards to highlight the quality of the region's noble varieties: Riesling, Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, and Muscat. Yields are limited to 55 hectoliters per hectare and no chaptalization. The addition of sugar to increase alcohol is prohibited, ensuring the wines reflect the ripeness of the grapes naturally achieved in the vineyard. Alsace is home to 3 distinct Appellations d'Origine Contrôlée, AOC, each with a specific regulations governing wine production. The Alsace AOC is the largest and most widely used, covering a broad range of still wines. It allows for a maximum yield of 80 hectoliters per hectare for white, 75 hectoliters per hectare for rosé, and 60 hectoliters per hectare for Pinot Noir. Certain wines may feature the name of one of 13 communes on the label, such as Bergheim, Blinkswiller, and Saint-Hippolyte, provided they meet stricter requirements including lower yields of 72 hectoliters per hectare for whites and 60 hectoliters per hectare for Pinot Noir. Additionally, specific Ludi vineyard sites may also be labeled under the AOC, with further reduced yields of 68 hectoliters per hectare for whites and 60 hectoliters per hectare for Pinot Noir. The Alsace Grand Cru AOC is reserved for wines produced from 51 classified Grand Cru vineyards, emphasizing noble grape varieties and stricter regulations, including a maximum yield of 55 hectoliters per hectare. Finally, the Cremant Alsace AOC governs the region's sparkling wines, which are made using the traditional method and must achieve a minimum must weight of 145 grams per liter of sugar, equivalent to 8.5 potential alcohol, and a maximum yield of 80 hectoliters per hectare. Alsace stands out as the only French wine region where grape variety names appear prominently on the labels, reflecting its emphasis on single varietal wines while also accommodating blends with distinct designations. Jancis refers to a higher quality blend where it includes at least 50% noble varieties, Riesling, Pinot Gris, Gewürztraminer, or Muscat, with the remainder composing of any permitted Alsace AOP grapes. To ensure quality-based wines for Jancis must be vinified separately before blending. In contrast, Edelswicke represents an entry-level category of blended wines, typically inexpensive and straightforward. Unlike Jancis, Edelswicke has no requirement for noble varieties, specific proportions, or vintage dating, and it may even be made from a single grape variety. Pinot d'Alsace offers another blended option, allowing a mix of Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Pinot Noir, and Auxerrois, all vinified as white wine, providing winemakers with creative flexibility. Lastly, wines labeled as Pinot Blanc may actually be blends of Pinot Blanc and Auxerrois, as the two varieties are often treated interchangeably due to their similar profiles. The Alsace Grand Cru AOP underwent a significant transformation in 2011, shifting from a single overreaching appellation to 51 individual Grand Cru sites, each with its own appellation and cahier de charge rulebook. This change marked a departure from the Chablis model, where all Grand Crus are grouped under one appellation, towards a system resembling the Côte d'Or, where each vineyard is recognized as a distinct entity. The size of these Grand Cru vineyards vary greatly, from the small Kanzlerberg at just 3 hectares to the expansive Schlossberg, which spans 80 hectares. This range in size contributes to significant variability in quality, akin to the disparities observed in Burgundy's Clos de Vougeot. Regulations for minimum potential alcohol levels also differ by grape variety. Riesling and Muscat require 11%, while Pinot Gris and Gewürztraminer must reach 12.5%. Some vineyards impose higher minimum as outlined in their specific cahier de charge. To ensure compliance with Grand Cru regulations, producers must declare the intent to label a wine as Grand Cru by March 1st of the harvest year, committing to adhere to the strict requirements from the beginning of the growing season. In 1984, following the expansion of Alsace Grand Crus to 25, a decree introduced 2 prestigious designations for late harvest wines, Vendange Tardive and Sélection de Grenoble. These classifications highlight the exceptional ripeness and concentration achievable in Alsace's unique climate. Sweetness levels are not legally mandated for either VT or SGN wines, though SGN wines are typically rich, dessert-style offerings due to their reliance on botrytized grapes. VT wines can vary widely, ranging from dry to medium sweet, depending on the vintage and producer intent. Both designations require producers to declare their intent before harvest, with vineyard inspections ensuring proper ripeness, botrytis presence, and adherence to yield restrictions. Additionally, wines must age for at least 18 months before release and not be released into the market until June 1st of the second year following the harvest. VT wines are late harvest selections that may or may not be affected by botrytis. These wines must be made from a single noble variety, without septalization, and pass a blind tasting panel. They require a minimum potential alcohol of 14.5% with must weights of 244 grams per liter or 93 oxyle for Muscat and Riesling, and 270 grams per liter or 103 oxyle for Gewürztraminer and Pinot Gris, with a minimum alcohol for 16% for those grapes. SGN wines, on the other hand, are crafted exclusively from botrytized grapes, resulting in intensely concentrated sweet wines. They must also be made from a single noble variety, hand-harvested, and pass a blind tasting panel. SGN wines require higher minimum potential alcohol, ranging from 16.4% to 18.2%, depending on the variety, with must weights of 276 grams per liter or 105 oxyle for Muscat and Riesling, and 306 grams per liter or 117 oxyle for Gewürztraminer and Pinot Gris. Alsace and Lorraine feature several unique appellations and styles that reflect their diverse vinous and cultural heritage. Mirabelle de Lorraine AOP is a designation for distilled beverages made from the Mirabelle plums, a regional specialty of Lorraine. Also in Lorraine, the Moselle AOP, upgraded from VDQS in 2011, produces red, white, and rosé wines. These wines are primarily crafted from Auxerrois and Pinot Noir, with Müller Thurgau and Pinot Gris also permitted under the appellation. Another notable appellation is the Côte de Toul AOP, famed for its Vin Gris, a rosé-style wine made with a blend of at least 2 grape varieties, where no single grape can exceed 85% of the blend, and at least 10% must be Pinot Noir, with accessory grapes capped at 15%. In Alsace, the Marc d'Alsace AOP protects the production of eau de vie distilled from grape Marc, with AOC status limited to those made from Gewürztraminer. While rare in Alsace, styles like Vin de Paille, a sweet wine made by drying grapes on straw mats using the passerillage method, and Vin de Glace, ice wine, produced from naturally frozen grapes, offer distinctive alternatives. These methods are more commonly associated with regions such as Jura, Greece, or Italy for Vin de Paille, and cooler climates for ice wine, but they underscore Alsace's ability to explore a wide range of styles. Some of the top-rated vintages to remember include 2019, 2009, 2007, 2001, and 1997, which are celebrated for their exceptional quality and balance. In contrast, the years 2006, 2002, 2000, and 1999 are generally regarded as being lesser quality in comparison. Rieslings from Alsace are renowned for their distinctive attributes. In appearance, they range from yellow to gold, with green hints and exhibit medium plus viscosity. On the nose, they display high intensity and evolve from youthful to vinous characteristics. Fruit notes include lemon, citronella, grapefruit, yellow peach, stewed apricot, pineapple, and banana, complemented by non-fruit aromas of white flowers, honeysuckle, jasmine, botrytis, ginger, honey, saffron, cardamom, anise, fennel, smoke, candle wax, and petrol. Earthy elements such as mushroom, forest floor, whetstone, gravel, and volcanic nuances often emerge, with no evidence of oak usage. On the palate, these wines are dry with high acidity, medium plus to high alcohol, with some phenolic bitterness, a medium plus to full body, and long finish. Alsatian Pinot Gris is characterized by a distinctive appearance, with hues ranging from yellow to pale gold, often exhibiting slight copper and pink tones, and medium plus viscosity. On the nose, it offers medium intensity with youthful aromas. Fruit notes include candied citrus, Meyer lemon, orange, apricot, yellow peach, ripe baked apple, quince, pineapple, and banana. Non-fruit aromas encompass white flowers, apple blossom, honeysuckle, botrytis, honey, ginger, exotic spice, musk, cinnamon, beeswax, damp cellar, nutty tones, and bitter almond. Earthy characteristics such as mushroom, forest floor, whetstone, and chalk add complexity, while no evidence of oak usage is detected. On the palate, Pinot Gris can range from dry to off-dry, with medium acidity, medium plus alcohol, some phenolic bitterness, medium plus body, and a medium to medium plus finish. Finally, Gewürztraminer is visually striking, with hues ranging from yellow to gold, often showing hints of green and displaying medium to medium high viscosity. On the nose, it is intensely aromatic and youthful, with fruit notes of orange, marmalade, grapefruit pith, peach jam, dried apricot, lychee, pineapple, and tropical fruit punch. Non-fruit aromas include roses, floral perfume, cinnamon, clove, gingerbread, exotic spices, musk, potpourri, honey, and scents reminiscent of perfumed lotion and soap. Earthy nuances such as granite, limestone, and schist provide an additional layer of complexity, while no evidence of oak usage is present. On the palate, Gewürztraminer ranges from dry to off-dry, with medium acidity, medium plus to high alcohol, high phenolic bitterness, a medium plus to full body, and a medium plus finish. Before we wrap up, Alsace is home to several notable producers who craft exceptional wines that showcase the region's diverse terroirs and unique grape varieties. Here are some major producers from Alsace that you might find on the market. Definitely worth exploring. Domaine Moret is celebrated for its Clos Saint-Landelin, a Pinot Noir grown on the steep south-facing terrace slope of Rouffach. These vineyards feature clay and limestone soils rich in stones, with a calcareous sandstone subsoil. The resulting wine is barrel-aged, offering structure and complexity. Domaine Albertman produces distinctive Pinot Noir from unique sites. The Clos de la Faille, located in Witzenheim, is cultivated in a sheltered area with soils of Grès de Vosges, calcareous sandstone, and chalk, while the Les Saint-Clair Pinot Noir is crafted from Sigensheim calcareous soils, yielding elegant and precise wines. Domaine Schlumberger, the largest Grand Cru landowner in Alsace with 140 hectares, 70 classified as Grand Cru, owns holdings across 4 notable Grand Cru terroirs: Quetelet, Kessler, Sering, and Spiegel. They are renowned for producing the Cuvée Santen Sélection de Grenoble, a rare Gewürztraminer SGN produced only twice a decade, exemplifying richness and intensity. Mark Kruidenwijs is distinguished for his Clos Herberg Riesling, grown on southeast-facing terraces of Villechist, the oldest stone in Alsace. The vineyards are chemical-free, and the unique terroir imparts purity, minerality, and a pronounced flint character, creating a wine of exceptional depth and elegance. Domaine Weinbach, established in the early 18th century as a Capuchin monastery, is now managed by Madame Colette Faller and her daughter Catherine. Renowned for its exceptional wines, the estate emphasizes precision and profound respect for terroir. One of its flagship wines, the Clos de Capucin, is a single vineyard Riesling cultivated in sandy, loamy soils and on gravel and granite pebbles. These soils warm quickly, enabling earlier grape maturation and resulting in wines that are expressive and ripe. The Cuvée Sainte Catherine is crafted from late-harvested Riesling grown in the lower altitude plots, is fermented to dryness. This wine is rich, concentrated, yet preserves the elegance and freshness that define Alsace Riesling. Another notable offering, the Cuvée Laurence, blends Pinot Gris and Gewürztraminer and is named in memory of Laurence, Madame Colette Faller's daughter, who passed away in 2014. This wine reflects her legacy with its richness, depth, and elegance. Lucien Albert, a family-owned winery with a rich legacy dating back to 1425, is widely recognized as one of the leading producers of Cremant Alsace. The estate is particularly renowned for its Blanc de Blanc, though it also produces an exceptional rosé crafted exclusively from Pinot Noir. Domaine Sint-Humbert is known for its exceptional Rieslings, with notable vineyards such as Clos Hauserer, located at the bottom of the Grand Cru Hengst. This vineyard benefits from a gentle, east-facing slope shielded from harsh winds, and its rich marl soil above limestone contributes to the late ripening styles of the wines, which are among the most acidic in the domain. Another standout is the Clos Saint-Urbain Rangé d'Étang, which produces outstanding Riesling and a rare Gewürztraminer. The vineyard's steep southern exposure and distinctive terroir give these wines exceptional character. Trimbach, a historic name in Alsace, produces some of the region's finest Riesling. Their Clos Saint-Hugh comes from the Rosacker vineyard in Hunavir, a parcel that has been in the Trimbach family for over 200 years. The vines, on average, are 50 years old and grow on limestone subsoil, resulting in wines that are both powerful and refined. Another flagship wine, the Cuvée Frédéric Emile, is sourced from Grand Cru sites of Geisberg and Osterberg. The Riesling, made from late harvest grapes, is known for its exceptional depth and complexity, offering an intense concentration of flavors. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever visited Alsace? What's your favorite Alsatian wine or producer? Let's keep this conversation flowing. Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you found this helpful, entertaining, or inspiring, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel or following me on Instagram. I'm aiming to share a new presentation regularly, so stay tuned for more wine adventures. Cheers and see you next time.